All right, I'm back again. We've got a new project that we're doing. In the background, you can see my last project, hanging those up for my kids. We are building a climbing wall in the garage. This is gonna be a multi-phase project. Today we're gonna start on phase one, which is doing 12 feet of that wall right there. So pretty much from the beam there to the back wall. So we're going to start by building our frame, but well, I guess before that, we got to find where the joists are in the ceiling to attach this wall to. So first thing I did is got my trusty stud finder, got it up there on the ceiling, and found out where my joists were. Now I have a very unhealthy relationship with these things where I just don't trust them because I found them to be wrong. And this is going to be holding a lot of weight, and I want to make sure I got these right on. And I don't really care what my ceiling looks like. So I don't know if you can see up here, I found my studs, but then I actually took a little drill bit and I drilled little tiny holes to find the exact edges of that stud. You don't have to do that. I just have a very unhealthy relationship with my stud finder. Maybe I just need to get another one. But so I've marked where my stud is or my beam is, my joist is up there. Then I'm going to go ahead and attach it to. So first thing is, yes, you could put it right up against the wall, but I'm covering this side door, so it actually needs to come out to the first stud, which is 24 inches out. So we're going to build this one. It's going to be 24 inches out from the wall, which might be nice because then I can put a few things back there related to the climbing wall. But first of all, we're going to build the frame out. A couple ways you can skin this cat. You can just build the whole thing and tip it up. My big problem that I found is, well, this is an older house and it's shifted and everything, so that corner is a different length height-wise by, I don't know, half inch, whatever, compared to over here. And so if so what I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna build, I measured out that corner and I measured out that side and I measured out this side. I'm just gonna build the big rectangle and put it up, and then I'll measure each stud as it goes to be able to put it in. You'll see what I'm talking about as I do it. But we found our joist. Now we're going to build the frame. All right, so I got it framed. We're going to bring it in here. I've got my line I drew on the ceiling. That's where I'm going to bring the front of it, so I know that the midpoint on my cross beam on my header is right into the right into the cross beam in the ceiling. So that way I know right where I'm putting it, so I don't miss it, because it's only, that big, and I got to make sure everything's good. So I'll show you how we're going to put this up in a little bit. I'm going to have my kids help me haul this in, so I won't be able to videotape that. Okay, so things didn't go as planned. I built the frame. I guess I built my tolerances a little too tight. I went to put it up and it was too tall, so I had to take it down. So what I did is I just tied the top up. I put the top, the header up there, and then I built the frame down below. I just hung these down, towed them up in, and now it's time to attach the footer here to the cement. So what we're going to do there, people haven't done it, we get this little tool here and these, and it's a little 22 shells I got somewhere else. You essentially just load them in, hit this with a hammer, and it shoots the nail into the concrete. That's how we're going to attach the footer to the concrete. So we're just going to level that up and get it done. I'll show you how that goes. Okay, so how this thing works. This is a gun. It is a nail gun. So once you load this, don't push it point it at anything you don't want to shoot a nail into. Okay. So I got these are 22 caliber cartridges right here. Got the yellow, that's for solid concrete. And then you got a nail here. So what you do, oh, there it goes. Open it up, load it just like a gun, close it, and then you put the nail in, and you hit it with a hammer right here, and it shoots that down in. Okay, so I gotta get my hearing protection and my glasses on, goggles on, and we're gonna go ahead and get this level and shoot this into the ground so we can get this to stay. Hearing protection, glasses. Glasses first. Fingerprints. Use this to get it so it's straight up and down. And I guess I'm going to need my hammer too. Hammer. There. Remember, this is loaded. Nail goes in. Put it where you want it. Push down. And fire. That's how it is. We're just going to go ahead and put a bunch of them through down the way to secure this into the concrete. It's pretty easy. Okay. Now we got it all nailed in on the bottom. Now we're going to hang up each of the different studs. So we just marked them out for 16 inches on center, and we're just going to put one in at a time. We'll measure each one out where it sits so it sits all good, and we'll get those up. Okay, so just showing you what I'm doing to attach these to the header here. Just towing these screws in at an angle to secure it, one on the front, one on the back. And yeah, you can definitely use nails for this. I can't do this very well while holding the camera. I'll get it in after the camera. You can use nails for this. I just don't have a nail gun. I think it's a little easier. Just careful, because sometimes when you screw these in at the angle, it wants to pull the board back a little bit. So just don't do that. But just doing one on the front, one on the back, and same on the bottom. And we're getting it done. Okay, so a couple things I'm doing here. I got the frame built, and then it's tall enough that my studs were a little wobbly. I didn't quite like, you know, the stability of it being that it was out away from the wall. So what I'm doing here, first of all, I'm putting these little cross beams in, to kind of straighten these boards out because, well, Home Depot likes to give you crooked boards and stuff. So it keeps the studs kind of centered up, but also gives it a lot more stability. And also, if you see, I've drilled this into the back wall. I'm going to put some supports to support up against the wall. Ideally, I would have put it about halfway up, but I've got a giant window, I got doors and all this kind of stuff. So I'm putting it a little bit down lower, but it'll still give it plenty of support. I also had to go across my door here, so I just built a little how it you know, you can see there I had to kind of lift it out of the way. But what I'm doing now is I'm going to support this up against the wall. So I showed you earlier how I screwed that brace into the back wall. So now I'm going to put 2 screws into here, but I've only put 1 right now just to be able to move it up and down. And I bought these hangers, and they're just going to go right like this, and we screw them into there and put some screws into that, and that'll do the trick there. I'll go ahead and get these all done, and I'll show you when it's done. But it's as easy as that. You buy this, tells you what size of screw to get, and that's the box of screws. Cost 18 bucks, so it's not too much, not too bad at all. So we'll get all these put up. All right, so we've gone ahead now, we've marked out our boards for our T-nuts. So a couple things to watch for and make sure you know is the spacing of your studs. So you don't drill holes where the studs are. So I'm going for a pretty extensive pattern, 6x6 for the most part. I went 3 inches up from the bottom and then put every 6 inches. That way I know I've got good footholds wherever. But then after that, instead of just doing a 6x6 square, which plenty of people can, I decided, here, I'll do it. I'll show you here where it's a little bit more easy. I started to go 6 inches and then I went up 3 and then over 6 inches. That way I can have it a little bit more, just a little bit more of a variety instead of just straight across from each other. But it took a little bit longer to map it out, but pretty much to get it all mapped out. I've got my cross beams right there that I needed to worry about. So I went and drew them out right here and right here. So I knew that I wasn't going to be putting any holes where they went. Another thing to watch for is right here on this section, these holes are pretty close to this stud. And so if that thing's bent out just a little bit, these are going to be blocked up. So I'll probably, when I end up drilling these, I'll just kick them out a little bit further just to make sure. I mean, this is just where holes are going, and there's, I don't know how many, 100 and some odd holes on this. So if a few of them are a little bit out of alignment, you're not going to really notice, but it's better than not having them usable because some studs in the way. So now we're going to go ahead and get these all drilled out. That's the fun part here. Do too when you're drilling is each of these things of plywood has what I'll call A and a B side, where you got the nice side and the not as nice side. So it's got all this. You want to make sure you're drilling with the not as nice side down. That way you're not getting little holes or you know, making little splinters and stuff for the side you're going to be climbing on. So make sure that's down when you're doing it. What I'm going to do is these two sheets have the same hole pattern. They're going to go on the far left. My problem is since these aren't spaced properly because of that, I'm gonna have to do that whole one by itself. And then I've got another sheet that I'm gonna, excuse me, cut up and put across the top, and you'll see that later. But if this was still standard, I could have just clamped 3 sheets together and drilled all this once. But now as it stands, I'm gonna have to clamp just those 2 together and drill those 2 out, and then I'm gonna have to do the hole spacing on this one. But that's my problem, not yours. All right, so now we're gonna start drilling these holes. Of course, it's getting late outside, but so the big important thing about these holes is you wanna get them directly down. If you have them on an angle, your T-nuts will strip out easier. You can cross thread your bolts when you're doing your climbing holes. So, and I've just randomly drilled straight down what I thought was level. You're always getting screwed up a little bit. So I went and bought this thing. It's Miles Craft. It's a little thing to help your holes get vertical. It was like 35 bucks. It'll be well worth it to just kind of move along the grid and get these things directly up and down, especially when you start getting tired and your back's hurting because you got a couple hundred holes to drill. So it's well worth 35 bucks to just attach your drill bit to it and do it. So we're gonna go ahead and drill these through. All right, so I'm almost done with half of it. It's taken about 10 minutes plus, well, And that includes a phone call from my wife wondering what we're eating for dinner. So it's gonna take about 15, 20 minutes to drill through here, but it's super easy going quick. Everything's vertical, so that's what you want. It's dark now, but I got it drilled. It took about a half hour, but with that press over there, it made it so much nicer. Everything's straight up and down, 164 holes drilled. Took about a half hour. I was talking to my wife a bit too, so maybe a little less if you're don't keep getting interrupted. So got those two done real quick. And I got the other two to do once I fit those and can get those done. But we'll go ahead and get the T-nuts put into all of these holes and then put them up. Okay, so I got my T-nuts in, so we're gonna go ahead and install the T-nuts. Now, one thing to do here, you don't have to do this, but makes it kind of nice. I drilled two of these boards together. This was the one on the top, so the back of it's pretty clean. But the bottom board has all these little things where the drill bit came through. Okay, now this can kind of get in the way of T-nuts and everything. You can kick them out of the way or deal with them. I just have my little sander here. What did I have? I got 120 grit paper. That's just what I have on hand right now. I'm just gonna go through and just hit it real quick. Just to get rid of all that so it's not in my way. Real quick and easy, and then we're gonna go ahead and install the T-nuts, which is not the fun part of this job. All right, so we got our T-nuts here. These ones I've got are a little bit different than some you might see. There's a couple different kinds. The kind most people see are, they've got three little prongs on the back of them. You stick in the hole and you hammer it in. One of the nice things of that is they're quick and easier to install. You just hammer them in, they're good to go. One of the bad things is that a lot of times they'll pop out. Those will pop out when your hold's you're drilling it or screwing in a hold, and you'll accidentally push that out the back of the wall. And if your wall is up against the wall completely, you're screwed. You now don't have a hole that you can put a hold in. And sometimes it sucks because you get the hold halfway on and it's kind of stuck there spinning and you can't seem to get it. You got to get something to pry it. Pain in the butt. So for this wall that's going to be more permanent, I'm not going to be able to get behind it. Well, this side I'm going to be able to get behind. Once I do phase 2 over here, that's going to be right up against the wall. I won't be able to get behind it. So I bought these kind where it's just got these two holes and you screw them in. And you screw them into the board. It's a little bit, they've got some that are rounded. They've got 3 holes, whatever. These are the ones I found that had the best reviews. Just got them on Amazon. Looked at, I think it was like $160 for, I think, couple hundred of them, 500 of them. I don't know. I can't remember now. I'll find that later and I'll let you guys know. So it's yeah, it's one of the pricier parts of the wall, but it's nice when it's not. You don't have a headache of these things coming out all the time. You don't have to worry about if they're going to come out. And it takes a little longer to put them in. But really, all you do is stick them down in the hole and screw them on in. It's that simple. So we're gonna go ahead and get this all done. We'll see how long it takes. So it's nice we got this gun. This really suck if you had just a screwdriver, but it's this easy. Just and okay. Now that I'm doing these, it might actually be just as quick as the hammer, using the hammer on T-nuts. It really doesn't take them long at all. It's pretty simple with the old DeWalt here. And nice and sleeping nice, knowing that these aren't going to be coming out of the back anytime soon. These are gonna last a good time. I'm pretty excited with it. So go ahead and get the rest done. It's going to take half hour or so. I won't make you sit and watch that whole thing. Okay, so we're putting up the panels now. I already put this one up. One thing to make sure you know is a garage floor that's been poured for 40 years. It's not level. So make sure your studs are level and you're just going off of those. So I had to kind of wedge this up at the bottom over on the over in the corner just a bit. It's off the ground like that much to make it lined up with the studs. But she's got it in, put some screws in the top, and we're gonna screw them all in. Now, one of the nice things here is we got all these holes drilled and the T-nuts in, and we got our cross beams. Once you get it on, you can look through all these holes and make sure none of your cross beams or your studs are in the way of any of your holes. Now it's time to fix that if you need to. These cross beams is easy enough with screws. You could just take them out, move them up or down an inch, whatever. Studs, maybe a little different. That's where making sure you got 16 on center is good, and then you can draw your lines and know. So done that. Now we're gonna go ahead and just hang it up. One thing you want to do here now, make sure this one was straight. So now we're gonna just flush this edge up against here, throw a screw in to hold it, and then we'll be able to put all the other screws in. All right, here, real quick, just throw one in to have it started, so once you get it, you can get it all finished up pretty easy. So if you can hold it up against there, put that in. Again, well, it's only one at a time, it's all fleshed up. This one right here is down the center, a little bit off at the top. That's okay, we'll adjust that as we go. But it's all good, we're just gonna throw a bunch of screws in this, put the board on, and it's hung. These are a little, let's see here, what size? One 5/8 inch screws with little star bits. Pretty easy. All right. So we got the last piece cut out. I don't think I've videotaped some of this. Got a bunch of it put up. It's not all tacked into place, just kind of, or it's not all completely put into place. It's just kind of tacked on. But all the other pieces are up. We've got this last piece. I don't have the holes drilled into it, but we want to make sure it fits up there. It's got to go around the beam there. So let's see if I measured correctly. I'm not the best at it, but here we go. P.S. This is also how you end up in the hospital, because I don't have anyone to give me this thing as I climb up the ladder. All right, moment of truth. I think it might. I got 1/8 of an inch right here that I got to shave off, but then it's going right on, no problem. Gotta love it. I actually measured right this time. We'll get it tacked up. All right, so we got the T-nuts. We got this other piece, last piece picked out or cut out. Got the T-nuts put in, shaved out that little corner that wasn't fitting on the last one. So go tack it up and then finish screwing all the rest of the screws on, because most of all these are just kind of tacked on there real quick. But we'll load them all up with screws, get them on there, and climbing wall is done. This is it. Hopefully this works. Beautiful. You get that one on. One up in the corner. That's it. Phase one. Phase one of this climbing wall is complete. It was not a lot of work. It took me longer than I wanted just because, well, messed up one thing. I don't know, I can't remember if I told you earlier. This wall, if you notice, has a lot more holes in it than the last one, so I had to reorder T-nuts. Those took a while to get here, and then I went to install those, and my battery charger for my drill was broke, so I had to file a warranty claim on that and wait for it to come in. But got it done. Not a difficult project, but this one's just straight up and down. Nothing crazy. We're gonna do more on that wall. I'll get video of that when it comes, but all in all, it's a good project. Anyone could do this in their garage for some fun with their friends, or fun for their kids. We're having friends over for a nice, easy boulder fest. Not much to it. So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.